Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. It's that time of the week where I go over my NFL predictions for week 5. So let's get started with tonight's football game between the 49ers and the Rams, who are 8.5 point favorites. This matchup usually produces good results. However, the 49ers are coming in banged up on a short week, and they're especially banged up on offense right now with Brock Purdy out, Juan Jennings out, Ricky Pierce all out. It just seems too much to ask for the 49ers to get a road win here. Maybe they can hang around for the first half, but the Rams will pull away late. So I have the Rams winning 23-12. Next, you got another, international game. We got the Vikings, or 3.5 point favorites versus the Browns, with this game being in London. For Cleveland, we'll see if drafting Dylan Gabriel in the third round was a good pick or not, since he's finally going to get his first start, after benching Joe Flacco. While Jackson Dart didn't have like amazing stats in his week 1 start, like we can see that like, hey, like he passed the eye test there, at least week 1 wise, like he showed something. So it'll be interesting to see what Dylan Gabriel does in this game. To be honest, I don't think there's much of a difference between Flacco Gabriel starting in this game specifically, and with because I think also with Minnesota having a bunch of injuries on the offensive line, I think both offenses will really struggle to score in this game. But I do think that with the luxury that Minnesota has specifically to have already been out overseas last week, I feel like that will be their big advantage that they can use to get the win here. So I'm winning 20-16. Next, you got the Texans, or 2.5 point favorites, versus the Ravens. Things are looking up for Houston right now. They beat a bad, albeit they beat a bad Tennessee team, but at least they got on the win column, and now they get to face the Ravens without Lamar and a bunch of key injuries on defense. I feel like this is their chance to play well. Now, for the Ravens, the good thing is that Cooper Rush, is a decent backup, has won many games as a backup, although that's under a particular coach, Mike McCarthy. So we'll see what he can do for the Ravens. I just want to say it's a slam dunk that the Houston wins this game, but I would definitely favor the Texans to win this game. I have them winning 27-20. Next, you get the Giants versus the Saints, who are 1.5 point favorites. I'm surprised. I know the Saints are at home here, but I'm surprised that the Saints are favored in this game. Um, I would, I do think this will be a close game though. The Giants are, kind of feeling themselves. I'm saying the Red Hot Chargers last week. However, losing their star receiver Malik Neighbors, like that's no joke. And if the offense can't score a lot, then the Saints have shown this season, even against good teams, that they can have the ability to at least hang around for the most part. So that's why I feel like what happened will they'll hang around, but the Giants will get the win as Jackson Dart starts off his career 2-0. I have Giants winning 17-13 in a low scoring game. Next, you get the Broncos versus the Eagles, for 3.5 point favorites. Based on how the Eagles have been playing, they will probably outperform Denver in this game, but they'll let them hang around like they have done with all of their opponents. You think like Dallas, like they could have, they could have, had a big lead, and they did. They let Dallas hang around to the end. Um, the Rams, obviously, they had to come back from behind, and then but then also like Tampa Bay last week, they let them hang around. The Chiefs, they were up, by a lot, but they just let the Chiefs continue to hang around to the very end. So 3 of the last 4 games, they had a lead by halftime, and they were just allowing their opponents to hang around basically. So I feel like that could be the similar situation what we have here. It'll be interesting to see if Denver can run their way to a win. I mean, not Denver. If Philly, I meant, can run their way to a win, or if they're gonna have to pass, like the Philadelphia had to do in the Rams game. They had to pass in order to win that game. But in other games, they've been able to get by with just running the ball. So it'll be interesting what happens there. Um, Now, Jalen Carter being out for the Eagles defense is definitely not great, or potentially being out. I think he's questionable, but I'll take the Eagles to remain undefeated as of right now. So then I have Philadelphia winning 24-20. So then you got the Cowboys versus the Jets. And Cowboys are 2.5 point favorites. Based on how the Jets defense has played so far as a collective, the Cowboys should be just fine on offense. However, the same could be said for the Jets offense, should be fine against a bad Cowboys defense. So this should be a fun shootout. It could come down to the wire, and it could come down to whoever has the ball last. I think Dallas makes a few clutch plays to get the win instead of just a tie, and the Jets remain winless. I have Dallas winning 31-28. Next, you got the Raiders versus the Colts, who are 6.5 point favorites. Based on the way the Raiders quarterback Geno Smith has been playing, I don't see them being able to outscore a good Colts offense right now. I mean, maybe the Raiders can obviously keep this a close game, maybe, but I just think the Colts shouldn't have too much of a problem here. They should win and cover. I have them winning 31-17. Next, you got the Dolphins, who are 1.5 point favorites versus the Panthers. It stinks for Miami as they finally get in the win column. They now have Tyreek Hill being out for the year. I think Miami's offense should still be fine without him, at least against a bad Carolina defense. The good news for Carolina is that offensively, I feel like they can bounce back in this game since Miami's defense is not the best. So I think Miami wins the shootout. I have them winning 31-27. Next, you get the Buccaneers versus the Seahawks, who are 3.5 point favorites. I think this is a rough matchup for Tampa. They come up short against the defending champs last week, and now they have to travel to Seattle, who is coming off extra rest, and Tampa's gonna have to face a really good defense here. Seattle could arguably be a top 5 defense so far this year. So they might be back without their star running back Bucky Irving in this game, along with already having Mike Evans out. So I feel like Seattle will win and cover in this game. I have them winning 27-19. Next, you got the Titans versus the Cardinals for 7.5 point favorites. With the way Tennessee is playing right now, this is the perfect game for Arizona to bounce back and get a big win after losing their last 2 games. So I have them winning 24-10. Next, you got the Commanders versus the Chargers, who are 2.5 point favorites. Since Washington quarterback Jaden Daniels has been medically cleared to fully practice, I assume he plays this game, and odds are that even if Terry McLaurin's still not able to play, I just feel like at least getting Jaden Daniels back is a huge deal. Therefore, Washington could do more things in offense. Then on defense, with the Chargers having their starting tackles out, I feel that'll be hard to overcome for the Chargers. Washington's defense loves the blitz a lot. So I feel like it'll be a long day for Justin Herbert, and Washington gets the big road win. I have them winning 23-20. Next, you got the Lions. You get the Lions versus the Bengals. The Lions are 10.5 point favorites. This matchup doesn't even feel like it'll be a contest based on what we're seeing from both teams over the last couple weeks. So Detroit wins easily. I have them winning 34-13. And then Sunday football, you got the Patriots versus the Bills, who are 7.5 point favorites. The Patriots played Buffalo well both times last season, so the Bills have to be careful here, and they have to be on their A game. I think this could be a fun shootout like it was back in week 1 on Sunday football when the Bills and Ravens had their shootout. I'm not going to bet against the Bills at home on Sunday football, so I'll take the Bills to win. I'm not sure if they'll cover the spread, though. Patriots may cover the spread. I have Buffalo winning 30-24. And then last but not least on Monday football, you got the Chiefs, who are 3.5 point favorites versus the Jaguars. The Chiefs are riding high right now. Having receiver Xavier Worthy back from his injury proved to be a big boost to the offense. So imagine a couple weeks once Rashee Rice comes back, how bad the offense could be. The Jaguars have been impressive as well, and they've shown that they kind of turned things around from the bad year last year that they had. I think this would be a good game to watch, but I'm going to ride the wave of momentum for Kansas City and have them win the close game here. I'm winning 23-20. So those are my picks. Also, I did post on my LinkedIn page my updated NFL predictions for the season. So if you want to look at that, make sure to go on my page, Durrett, and look at that on my LinkedIn page. So thank you very much. This is my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel to learn about me. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day.